Y'all, the smell of jasmine. Happy Sunday morning. We've been out here since right after daylight. Let me lean down. Out of nowhere, yesterday evening, I don't know, about 6, I guess it was. Winds blew up at 60 miles an hour. Now we didn't get the heavy. We got what, about 40? About 40. Hail and power started blinking. I said, oh, Lord. And it rained. Problem was, it rained in spots of the property. And other spots, nothing. It was the craziest storm. Came out of nowhere. So, we immediately come out and evaluated. And, yeah, I had to do some hair cutting. So, I've been in barber school this morning. Let me show you how much barber school I've been in. That's how much barber school. Yep. So, before we go to the side where some limbs broke off, branches of the tomato plants, we'll just do a little run through. Lots happening. I did can 4 pints of green beans last night. It started, power was blinking, and then when it come back on, I was able to finish them off with no problems. And I looked out here and I was like, oh, I missed some. So I'm gonna let them go. I keep saying I'm pulling them, but I'm gonna let them go a few more days, and then I'm gonna pull them. Because I think I'll have, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more pints. And that's 2, 3 more pints than what I have today. So I'm going to turn you around. We'll just do a walkthrough. And then I'm going to show y'all the shade cloth, the hair cutting that we had to do. And then we're going to talk about our water lines and also what we have to do to get some water off this garden. The beauty of dahlias. Y'all, I just love them. But here's the beans. Actually, they have remained amazingly healthy. Now, I do have a few bad spots, and I'll just pluck that off. But I do have still enough beans. Like I said, I will run them a couple of more days. Now, if you look down in here, see how they've made a belly? That's where I'm going to get my seeds from for next year. But you see, this is a beautiful one right here. So I'm going to let them go and see what happens. Very pleased. I'm at, 31 pints off of this small row. The pepperoncinis are coming on. Remember, we planted these late. I just threw some seeds in, and I need to put one of those copper coils here. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Let me pluck this. I'm going to add probably one of those that Mr. Mickey sent me. There's all our tomato suckers. And look, guys, so I'm going to have to go ahead and get them planted. I didn't want to. I really didn't till about August, but I'm going to have to. Looking here at our cayennes. I mean, they're just gorgeous. They haven't turned yet, but it's loaded. Now, these are actually yellow. They do not turn red. And I don't remember the variety, but I'll try to look it up. I have it in my book. Look at these. Now, these are the red ones. See? Those cucumbers are going crazy. I mean, just crazy. And loaded. I'll be picking again tomorrow. Now, these are pickling. See? And we'll be doing some dill relish. Y'all have seen the mint bed. The parsley and lemon balm. I've got to harvest. I was supposed to do that the other day. But today is the day, or this evening. The oregano, it is wanting to flower, not a problem. I'm going to trim it off the top, and then I will harvest. And it will come on back. As well as the thyme. Look at our sweet potatoes. They coming on. These are the Mr. Owl sweet potatoes. They're actually called Well, now, if I wouldn't have been talking, I could have remembered. Evangeline. Thanks, bud. I call him Mr. Owls. Okay. Y'all are going to see some additions. Bamboo sticks, some string. That's because this one here, we haven't brought the shade cloth out. And the strings that was coming down, you know, we've always grown on these strings. Well, this just went up a week ago. So the tomatoes went wild. Look at these. And this is all of my paste tomatoes. Got one turning. Got another one turning. Look at these big boys. Look at that. And y'all know this is my favorite. This is my lemon boy. Let's see if I can... Let's look down in there. Now this one's called a Parks Whopper. Now there is 5 to this one. And they're as big as my palm. And if we look up in here, look at that. Because you want airflow. One, it lessens dramatically fungus, but it also allows this fruit to really get some UVs and turn colors when it, you know, when it ripens. You're not going to get that if it's just all massive leaves. This is my celebrities. Now these are all determinants, and you're going to see, remember, it follows all the way around. That one literally broke off. So all of these are going to come in at one time, and that's fine. That's what I want. But look at these. We had to get some airflow because they just got top heavy. And that wind yesterday just took them down. This one especially. You see it's loaded, but look right here. It broke. That one broke. And this one completely just leaned over and snapped. So he tied it up here to the frame because that's all we could do. I harvested a bucket full of jalapenos. So Cameron and I will be making some cowboy candy today. And it's still loaded, y'all. I mean, as far as you can see in here. I harvested a lot of squash. And we still have plenty more. Look. And guys, these plants are doing fantastic in these little metal stands. These stakes, this is the square ones. I don't care for the round ones. But as long as you start feeding them squash and zucchini as they're growing. Now I do keep the bottoms cut because, you know, once they lay, they'll get yellow. You want to remove that. So I've got to remove that one. But look at that foliage. And we're going to look down in here. You can see where my cuts are. But there is no damage, guys. Here's another one. Just green all the way down. Here's the Mr. D's. Look at that. No blossom end rot, guys. Remember I told you it's that calcium nitrate. And there is the Hosinator. Now, guys, it's bigger than my hand. And it's loaded. Oh, let me grab my pepper. And Mr. Eddie was here yesterday in person to see it. We got to talk about that in a minute. Here's those pitiful bananas. And as you see, I've got the copper coils in here. Personally, I've not seen where it improved this whatsoever. Because I don't think there was no improving. Because remember, these I measured. I actually measured and said eyesight. They're 12 inches depth. They wasn't going to do nothing to start with. Our bales are loaded. Every plant is loaded in bales. We're just going to go right through. Look at this one. Now here is the zucchini. I harvested 4 this morning. Just doing amazing. Yep, this is a yellow squash right here, and I just see I have one. Now remember those pepperoncinis that a seed started for someone, they didn't get them? Well, they were a little on the weak side. Y'all remember that. I added Mr. Eddie's coal, south side. Now, I have seen improvement on this one. I've seen major improvement. So, you know, I'm going to say it was the copper, but I also have been heavy feeding it because they were very weak links. But I have seen improvement. And here's a lot of the cucumbers. Y'all remember that cucumber plant that was almost dead? Oop, there's a bee. Well, I put one of Mr. Mickey's coals here, and it has actually grown about 2 inches. So, and I haven't treated it any special. So I would say, yes, the copper coal is working on this particular plant. I was able to plant my red rippers, I think it was Tuesday, y'all. But every one of them has germinated. But we're going to talk about, remember I told y'all there was something that I put in with my seeds. But as far as you can see, there's a leaf. They've all come up. Now, did I put them close together? Yeah. But I was trying to get as much in these beds as I could. That one really blew up. That other one, it's coming up though. And this is what I use. This is an inoculant. I'm going to hold the camera so y'all can get a screenshot. And there's Mr. Buddy.
What up?
What I did was I made a trench where I knew I was going to plant my peas. And I put this inoculant in that trench. And then I just smoothed it over. I went maybe, you know, an inch. Smooth it over, and then I just poked my holes where I wanted to put my pea. Put my pea in, covered it up, and watered it in. But what this is a live bacteria. It's a nitrogen fixer. And that's what your peas need. Peas, beans. Because remember, I had done these, but I don't think I had showed y'all. Except soybean. Now, this won't work on soybean. But guys, this is probably one of the best things you can put with your dried beans or your peas or those, y'all done told me 27 times to Sunday. Them sugar peas things. See, I don't grow them, so I don't try to memorize what they're called. But y'all know what I'm talking about. This is some amazing stuff, and it doesn't take much. And you only do it one time. You don't consistently add. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to get a better result of the beans or the peas from the growing to the harvest, because it will stabilize and fix its own nitrogen because it's a live bacteria. So hopefully y'all got a screenshot, and this is what I use. And I think I had said it a couple of times. When we get there, I'm going to show y'all, because I didn't want to just show you without putting a plant to it. So that's all it is. Now this container can run $15 to $20. This container's probably 3 years old. Yeah, it doesn't take much. So now I'm going to get some water, let Mr. Buddy finish what he's doing. Nope, we'll do the shade cloth. Then I'll get some water, and when he finishes, we're going to come back to the water lines he's running and talk about the pump the water pump thing to get this water out. Because, you know, a lot of you are questioning, okay, can you do this? Can you do that? You know, drill holes. And great information. But it's not going to work, and it's not for me to explain. Y'all know, what did I tell you? One time he needed like a 4-inch pipe. Yeah, that's not my department, so I'm going to turn it over to him. But let's go look at the shade cloth. Guys, it is working. Now if we can just get it moved over. Oh, and real quick, I know we could talk about, it's going to be a long video. Mr. Eddie and his wife, Miss Sharon, and their grandson, Colton. That's Poor Boy's Little Homestead / Papaw's Place. I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with him. If not, I'm going to leave his channel link in the description. An amazing gardener, amazing DIY guy, just a talented man. Well, they actually came out early yesterday morning. We put meat on the grill, or Buddy did, and we just had the best fellowship. The boys played. Oh, that Colton is a mess, y'all. He is a mess. He had a great time. But Mr. Eddie was able to come in the garden. He got to see the Hosinator. From what I'm told, as pitiful as that thing was, mine might be beating him. Just saying. I had to just say that. But he brought me some seeds. He brought me the green egg squash. Now, mind you, he not only brought seeds, guys. He brought the fruits of these seeds to me. Yes, and actually, we used his cucumbers. He had some of the sweetest slicers. I think they're in here. I'll tell y'all what those are. Amazing cucumbers, sweet. So I sliced some, added some Vidalia onions, made a little vinaigrette, and that was a side salad to go with our meal. And he also brought Mo a watermelon. What? But green egg squash. I haven't tried it, but he brought it to me. So I got some seeds for that. The sangria chow pak choy. Sangria choy pak choy. Mr. Eddie, I don't know what this says. I think that's a tomato. I don't know. Oh, here is the one. He didn't bring any, but this was the one fruit he didn't bring. It was a Honey Delight hybrid from Burpee. Y'all know I'm a Burpee fan. I had never tried it. He talks about it like I talk about my lemon boy. So I will go ahead and start these seeds because remember, we get a second round of tomatoes. So I'm tickled pink. But y'all, he brought us, he picked yesterday morning and brought some of his pickings. Squash and some zucchini, the cucumbers, a big watermelon. I don't think he grew it, if I'm not mistaken. Just all kinds of goodies. And we had the best time. So yeah, I'll leave his link down in the description. And if y'all are not familiar, check him out. He is a winner. They're the real deal. They're just common folks like us. And we've been to his place, and it's beautiful. So I was thrilled that he walked my Miss Lippy's square box garden, and a lot of compliments came from him, and they were true compliments. So he actually told me that my garden is bigger, even bigger in person. I guess I'm out here all day long. It seems like it's shrinking. But he said, no, Miss Lippy, it's bigger than what it shows on camera. And it is quite big. But we're extending. What am I thinking? Food. All right, let's go look at the shade cloth. And here is the shade cloth. Let me see if I can get my hands up here. Y'all, it has made a world of difference. So y'all can only imagine as we extend it all the way. And he said he's actually considering not just this row here. Let me move over so I can show y'all without falling in this water hole. Not just this row, but he says he's going to be able to come over and actually go all the way across. So he says he has the material to do it. So look at it from this angle. This was the best thing we could have done for ourselves. I found him, y'all. It's going to be a few minutes before he goes to the water lines. He's digging my holes. I had them with orange flags where I wanted them. The one he's about to plant is a satsumer. And look at this. It's loaded. Now, I don't know if they'll all make it, but hey, we ate one off of our other satsuma tree last year and shared it. It was delicious. Is that some of our mushroom compost you put down in there?
That is it.
How long have we had them in buckets? A long time.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
Been trying to baby them, but
since last year.
They got to go in.
Now, we did lose one, but we hope that they make good on it. And just like that, satsuma is planting.
All right. This is going to be the inlet line right here. I'm going to ditch from here over to the well. So it'll come in. I'm going to put a valve down here where I can cut it off in the wintertime, take the air compressor and blow through every line so it's empty and it don't freeze. Leave every valve open in the wintertime. But for right now, until I get the water run over here, instead of having to stretch the water hoses through here, we're gonna hook the water hose from here right to the house over where it's at. I got another spigot here, so we can run a water hose off of this for the outside, any plants out here. Or if we want to go to the chicken house for right now.
Let me see it up close. Yeah, there's the
You can hook the water hose on the spigot. This will eventually, I'll come in here and tie off and go this way, feed the greenhouse, and feed the back. Anything else that needs to come off, I'll come off this line. But this will be able to be cut off during the winter time, and I'll hook the air compressor into here, charge the line, put 50 pounds on it, and start opening valves one at a time. Let it blow all the water out of it. That way there's no chance of freezing. Then open every valve and leave them open through the winter. All right, we'll go inside. I come in here, left it in this channel, and went through the bed in the dirt. All the way
I see.
Through the other side. And come out over here, and I got a T. And we'll go this way, and we'll keep it in this, try to keep it in this trough. That way it's protected, and I can just strap it here. I put this on right here just to hold it when I glued that joint. But I'm coming down to the ground, and I go across to the other bed so the water can go that way. Now this right here, I will have to come in. I'm gonna redo all this right here. Probably gonna put a short board across. Probably put white rock in here, something where she won't trip on it. Build this up to where when you come in, you won't even see this, step on it, or trip on it. We're gonna go.
We'll go this way.
Yeah, we'll go this way.
See how he's feeding
follow
it?
the trough in here and sit. You can see that's where I ended right now. I'll come back and tie in right here. But I'm gonna go and I'll figure whatever the length of this run is, I'm gonna go, and wherever the length of the run is halfway, I'll put a T here and come up. And I'm gonna put a 90, come right here with a valve. And then when I get my main line tubing, I'll run it on the top of here. And then it's the kind where you got the goof plugs or a punch in, and it'll have little vinyl tubes with the drippers. And I'll put her 3, 4, however many she needs, and you'll just move that tube to whatever plants you got planted. If you don't want it, take it out, put the goof plug in. That whole line will be charged, and you can put whatever drippers you want in the bed, however many gallons per hour that you want to feed it. But it'll be 3/4 all the way, 3/4 on the main line. And then you can turn on one valve and water the entire garden, or you can go cut a section off if you don't want watered it.
And I like that because some things don't get watered the same.
We'll go on down. Watch
Oh, Lord.
right here. I'll stand right here. Bam.
Yeah.
When it comes in here, you can see I got a hose rack. I've got 2 of those light hoses that we talked about that she showed you. It's kind of a fabric outside with a rubber liner. They're 50 foot, but they're real light. I mean, you don't have to hardly tote nothing. There'll be a hose on this corner of the garden, and there'll be a hose in the back corner of the garden for right now. I'm putting in to where we can put the other 2 in each corner later on. But there'll be a 50-foot hose hanging here in case you want to spot water something without turning everything on, or fill a bucket or wash something. It'll be here. And then it's just going to continue on down around the corner. And then let's go back this way. You know, all the buckets are out in the center. So in order to feed them without having a bunch of lines, we're going to have that one. You got to step over there. I'm going to come in behind this shed, and I'm going to bring the tube, and I'm going to go down and across like I did at the gate up there. And it's going to run down behind this bed and the shed down this side.
Oh, okay.
That'll feed this bed, and then we'll go over here.
Y'all, I'm learning as y'all learning, because I didn't know what he was doing.
And it'll come all the way down this bed and feed it. And then at that end, there'll be a main line tied to that long box.
Oh, okay.
And then from here, there'll be a line coming out, and it'll go to a line over here at this one and a line to this one. So you're gonna have one PVC on the ground here, one PVC ground on there. And then the main lines will go down the side of each one of these rows of buckets, and the tubes will come in each bucket.
Oh.
So you'll have that one main 3/4 inch line on the ground, and we can put something over it to where you don't trip on it. Later on, we're talking about putting something on top of this, some kind of cover anyway. But I can tie them all in and feed every one of them, but each one of them will have a valve on each run to where if you don't want to water, you can turn it off.
And we'll show y'all as he gets to that, to each step, he will show you.
Same thing it'll be on the other side of the shed where the herb garden is. Once I go off of this back run and come all the way around the corner and come down, then I'll come from about the center of that bed and I'll come underneath that, and I can branch off to these 2 and feed the herbs, and we can put 4 drippers in those herb boxes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm zooming in.
Okay.
Whoops.
This is where a tree used to be. She had a satsuma here at one time.
Uh-huh.
And we ended up, it froze and died. Then we put all this box of stuff in. If you'll see when I step on this, see all the water.
Yep.
This is the lowest point of the garden because everything, it's on a grade coming from up here to here. Well, when we set these boxes in this corner, normally it would just slowly go across a natural grade and just dissipate. But being you got this fabric on there, even though water will go through it, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So everything's going to run as fast as it can to here. And it sits right here and it settles because it can't go out the boxes. These boxes, they're not closed in the bottom. These boxes just sit on the ground. The whole bottom of these boxes are open to the earth. This goes under them all the way to the other side. So water does run out. If you heavy water, the water will run out the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that you can do. Drilling holes won't help. If I undermine this, the only problem is when you get on the other side of these boxes, the ground is higher right through there because that's where septic system treatment goes. The lines go, and they built that up to go out to the septic system out there for the pump. And I'll show you. She backs up and looks.
Let me see.
That's level. That's right at 6 inches of fall in 50 foot from the back to the front. So we're 6 inches lower up here. And I'm gonna tell you what, when it rains, you'll have 6 inches of water right
That's
here.
right.
It's a guarantee.
And I can't get
You
around
can
it.
see the line right here where the water will get.
Let me show him. Oh yeah, I can
See the
that.
line right
Yeah.
here. It'll be about 6 inches up on that box. It covers the landscape timbers up to the bottom of the buckets.
Mm-hmm.
So every time it rains right now, I've been having to take this pump
And see, I fall in those holes
and
where he's
set
standing.
it in that hole and just turn it on, just water hose, and let it pump out. And I send it over to the muscadines because I mean this is all still good water. It's running out of the buckets, out of the boxes, a lot of nutrients in it. So I use it and send it around to the muscadines and the blackberries. But my plan is I'm gonna have to cut this back. I'm gonna have to dig down. I'm gonna have to put a sump pump and a box in here, a drainage box with a hard top, and it had to be perforated where all the groundwater can come in Anything on the top can come in, and yet it'll be an actual trash pump where little pieces won't stop it up every time. And then I'll have to run 1.5 inches and run it out here, 1.5 inch line, and let it pressurize. It'll be a float in here. When it gets full, it'll kick on, and then it can pump it out. Whether we want to pump it into a vessel to re-water and use the water again, or if we want to pump it down a line out to the ditch or wherever. So that's what we got to do, because there's no other way around it. Trenching under is not going to do any good, because we would have to have about 1.5 foot deep ditch going out the front into the back of the house. And
we don't want that.
We don't want that. Trying to keep it flat and keep it running away from here. We don't want no more water than what we have to have.
And I can't come over here because
well, the problem is not only is it wet, but you can see it's slick because it's muddy underneath it. So the fabric moves on top of it for about a 7-8 foot spot by a 4 foot right here. Everything settles. And once I get this cut out and that box in there, I can fill in these low spots around it, and all that water can run to that box. Groundwater can seep into it, and as it gets full, before it gets above it, it'll already kick it out. I mean, even as hot as summertime as we got, dry as we've been, she's out here watering all the time.
Right.
So
and it all
the water
fills up.
Does come out of the bottom of the buckets. Everything in these boxes and buckets, as it drains through and drips, it all runs to right here. So even if we don't have a rain, you'll come in here and this spot here be standing in water. I'll have to pump it out. But it stays a mud hole. So that's a priority we got to get put in to dry this up.
Yep. But we'll let y'all know as we get to it.
Yes, indeed.
And there is our garden update, water lines, sump pump information. Yeah, y'all learned everything at the same time I was learning, because I really didn't understand what he was doing. Now I get it. So, as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.